Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to see so many participants. Thank you for coming. My name is Vasily Petrichenko. I'm Vice Director of Scientific Park of MSU. And today we want to speak about cooperation between science and business, about positive experience in this area, how to establish relations, and what can occur and what can come out of it. Speaking about our park, we have been accumulating this experience since 2004. Next year, we're going to have an anniversary of our program in the area of entrepreneurship, the success formula, and we would like to share it with you. I hope it's going to be useful. We will tell you about the enterprises which grew from this experience. And you know that today we are celebrating the decades of the science. We are developing the platform of scientific and university enterprises, many initiatives which are supported by finances and investments, which are helping to implement this in practice. All of them are supporting the initiatives on site. If you want, you can just take it and use it for your benefit. We'll discuss it as well. Let us begin with the first speech by Mr. Movsisyan, the director of the Scientific Park of MSU. Mr. Movsisyan, you're welcome. Vasily, thank you very much. Good day, dear colleagues. Good morning to put it otherwise, it's my pleasure to see you all. As Vasily has mentioned, we have been working in the scientific park for quite a while with the students and the youth from the point of view of involving them in the technological entrepreneurship. And the program, the success formula, is the program which is called by this popular word acceleration program. But back in 2004, nobody knew this word. Both in the activity of the scientific park and our work, we did our best to understand what the international experience is and how to adapt it to our experience. We looked at MIT, Stanford, Oxford, Cambridge experience, and the main model, the starting point, was the Oxford University Business School website. And we used it to create the competitions for business plans. And then we started working, and it came to the state that we are in now, when the main idea is to both help the students to implement their ideas, which they have, which they get during their work and their studies, as well as to orient them to the needs and requests of the industrial partners. Because when you're working based on the task, the chance that you will achieve the result by solving a particular task is much higher, and you are going to launch your business. Mainly, I'm going to be speaking about this, but before I start, is this thing on? Where should I point it? Maybe you should switch it on? Okay, before I begin, I would like to say a couple of words about the decades of science and technologies. I guess you've heard about this project. After we celebrated a year of science and technologies, the President of the Russian Federation suggested to celebrate the decades of the technologies and sciences, which was supported by the decree by the President. And in year 2022, we celebrated the decade. This is a big project indeed, coordinated by Mr. Fursenko, the President's aide on technologies and science, and Vice Prime Minister Mr. Chernyshenko. As a part of this project, 18 initiatives are being implemented and realized, and all of them are aiming at involving the youth to scientific work, starting from the schools, basically to popularize the scientific activities, as well as making science more useful for state, business, and society. One of the initiatives is the platforms for the interrelations between the business, states, and society, which is supervised by the scientific park as a part of a big scientific project. Within these initiatives, we popularize the tools which make science closer to the people from the point of view of applicable tasks which are lying ahead of the businesses of state and society, and we make this experience available to everybody within the country. Thus, we, being the Moscow University and Scientific Park, have offered the methodology and our experience to show how to launch the accelerator which would support the tasks of the industrial partners in almost any possible university in Russia or any technological park. As of now, this methodology has been developed. The project is called Bridge to the Future, and as a part of it, we help the teams which can be created in the universities. We help them to launch the accelerator, which would orient to launch new companies based on the tasks created by the industrial partners. What do we offer as a part of this project? We offer educational materials, how to launch the program, both for those who can bring their own project. It's always learning by doing. When the guys have some idea or some task which unifies them, and next it goes we launched a crash course, how to launch business step by step. How to go through the marketing stage, to customer development, to understand what is the value of the product which is offered, down to the final presentation. When you're showing a team, you're showing the essence of the idea. You're showing the results of the negotiations with the first client, getting the feedback about the project, etc. So, and this is the 9-month project. We gather the teams, we form the teams, we organize negotiations with industrial partners, we find the tasks which are going to be solved by them, and all in all, it goes into creating the tasks in the field of pharmaceutical, let's say some breakthrough drug or whatever. But it's not about the graduates and experienced guys. So we are trying to create teams consisting of different people. The task of the teams is to find the best possible work and the task for such a team, to gather the mentors and experts, to put the proper task, goal, and then you can find those people in the neighboring labs, etc. So to work on the product, to finish the product, to understand how to adapt it to the task of the customer, and then to pilot this task at the industrial partner's site, and then to try to launch the business. There could be several outcomes, both for the industrial partner and the guys themselves, based on our experience. One of the options is when you launch a new startup, the task is solvable, there is a prototype, they come to an industrial partner, they understand what to do, and then it could be a spin-off. So basically, it just separates from the industrial partner, and then it's going to be a company with the participation of the team. So how to motivate it? So it's the industrial partner and us who have to do this, because they still have to be interested in developing this project further on. Second option, when the whole team implementing the project is becoming a project team, and they implement this project with the industrial partner at their site in full. This happens as well. This is a possible trajectory for the development of the team and the industrial partner as well. And the third option is when the university establishes the relations and receives orders for scientific development. All three options are possible. What do? We support the university in training the team, which is going to be implementing the accelerator. We help to find the first investment sources to finance the team. And now, as a part of the platform of the university technological entrepreneurship, the government is investing into the launches of such programs. We know how to properly apply, how to submit those documents. We help with the reporting documents, etc., and launch as well, of course. Second, we help to look for industrial partners in the region, because if you look around, there are always normal companies. I'm not talking about large enterprises. We know about the cases when you can work with big enterprises, but sometimes you cannot even open the door to the company because they are not thinking about some smaller projects. That is why the middle-sized business is actually a very good partner. We help with the educational partner program, with the trackers and mentors. And when the project appears and you can see that the project can be launched, because the team is working, the first prototype is issued. Then we help to find the investment sources for the development of the project. As of now, there are multiple sources. The foundation of the innovation support down to operators of the federal project on university technological entrepreneurship. Startup studios, the company is investing into small business. At least Moscow has the Business Angel Union and the funds which are investing directly to such projects. Actually, sometimes grants are even less useful than the investment from such companies. As I've already said, this is the market pool principle, when the tasks are set by the market and the industrial partners. It's important that the industrial partners should set up the idea and the goal to form the team. And it's important to deliver it to the students when we're talking about the value that they will get when they enter the program. Usually we have a very strict selection. In the beginning we have about 500 people, and then about 100 most motivated are taken up by us. And of course it's important for them to have at least some experience in management or entrepreneurship or whatever. There have to be such people in our teams. Few words on the routes we've taken starting from 2016 when we reformatted the program. Back in the day, we just helped the students to implement their ideas. So once again, it's the crash course, the trainings, the lectures, consultations. And then we wanted to get more conversion because the outcome would be 2, 3, or 4 projects. And of course, we would want to have 10, 15 startups in the end. And then in the year 2016, we tried to discuss those things with the industrial partners to get their tasks and to orient the guys to start working both on their ideas, which are actually in most of the cases are rather raw and too imaginative and fantasy, but to adapt their ideas to the work with the partners. So the first year was quite a successful one. I will show you the examples of the companies which were born like this. And then we came to working with larger business, with smaller business, etc. And in the end, they supported us when we suggested this format. They asked us to create the methodology which could be separated from the university. And starting from year 20 to 23, we implemented it in a range of technoparks in universities. And now we are discussing the launch of such projects in the Republic of Bashkortostan, together with the Ufa universities. A few examples of our graduates. Maybe you know our alumni, Genotech, the genetic research, they create the DNA tests. They were born in our program, and today this is a good program with the revenue of 600 million rubles with investors such as Yandex, Farm Standard, and even Mr. Voloshin invested into them.
And they also our students came to our program. Also, they visited us, and the other student came to our program as well together. Please, Vasily, just monitor the time. And so he found out the task from the industrial area with the work dealing with the chemistries, with the tissues, and they started producing special materials against some burns and damages. And there were also created special materials, medical materials, just to help to stop from blooding and so on and so forth. And so the company started making a lot of money. So it's about 300,000 million rubles per year. And the other company is, the next company had some problem that they would like to solve, and there was a company created based on our formula. So they found out the refining processes, and nowadays their products are sold among Russia. And the third company is one of the biggest the biggest company in Russia. So these companies are called NIPS. So they are working just together with the state and universities. So the students were from the biological departments, and their work was dealt with the marine and river harbors. So then the thing. So they were constructing basically and engineering the projects dealing with the ships, how these ships will go on the rivers, on the ice as well. And so these are actually our examples and our graduates. So if you are interested to this type of programs, we would like to share our programs, and we're going to support you just in the process of the launch. So please, you're welcome to come to us, and we will be very happy to work with you. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for your very interesting speech. I think we have some students on our programs, and can you please tell me, just from the audience, are there any representatives from the universities? Great. Colleagues, so for your information, my dear colleagues, so we are accepting the forms up to 11th of December for acceleration, so please, you're welcome to do that. So are there any people from companies? Great. So the companies and businesses are in majority. So we have 3 minutes left for the companies. What is the value for the companies while they are participating in acceleration program? Yes, for sure. It has some costs. It has some, busy things to do and bureaucracy. Yeah, of course, there are some things that they have to do, but we're dealing with companies just despite the main course of the business. If we take some innovative companies, so there are so many ideas for businesses for special niches. So we have the way to So these businesses have lack opportunities to find out new ways to open these niches. That's why we can help to select people, basically team, who can help you to make this work. And we have people who can really help you in a very productive way, an effective way. So please come to us. We can discuss it all together. What tasks we can put to start with. We are going to discuss and find through your tasks the task that will be kind of affordable for this new students and people for your team. So you will decrease your risks doing that, because you can separate or delegate different tasks within them. This is the first one. And the second one, very often we have companies who come to us and they actually are searching for new employees, because we have people with a unique competence. Because we have people, first of all, who have research skills. Secondly, they have engineering skills to make a real project that can be working in real life. And thirdly, they also have managerial skills as well, because it's very important to delegate, to motivate the team, the people to do the work properly. So actually, we are selecting people with managerial skills, motivation. And some people who are selected are actually people who would like to earn money, who understand how the money works. And these people are also needed. So you have the possibility to go to a headhunter and go through the resumes or vacancies and go to the interviews, and then you will start working with them. You will try to understand what's this a person, and then this will be a very questionable then issue about firing them. So you will have a pretty short time to work with our team, with our students, our people, and you will be able to understand them in a very short time, and for you it will be more convenient. So that's it. Thank you very much. But what about the companies that are non-technological, but they are getting some grants from the government? Well, yeah, I forgot to mention this. So for these companies, they minimize their costs because we help to budget these companies in the beginning with their pilot projects. So we've kind of make it understood and understandable within these companies. So we have another our colleague, Olga Stanislavna. She is CEO of Uralchem Innovation LLC. Can you hear us? Yes, it's perfect. So I actually sent you my presentation, but I'm not sure whether you will be able to show to the audience. Right, great. We have something on our screens. The problem is that, unfortunately, I cannot see it. Olga, I see. We see your presentation. We see the first slide. So you can start. All right. So I will open on my computer, just for me to be sure that I'm following you and you're following me. So I'm representing Uralchem company. So I would not spend much time about this company. I'm sure that you've heard of this company. So can you just turn to another slide? We are one of the biggest company who produces the mineral materials, ammonium, and we have a lot of industrial sites in Perm city, in Perm region, in Krymsky region, in Taliati city, and fertilizer. So we are one of the biggest company who produces fertilizer. So we are making a lot of volume of these products. And of course, we are involved in innovation processes. So we are also producing some niches, some specialized products as well. And today's task today is to, find out the ways to launch these programs. So Uralchem Innovation is the branch company of innovation, the main company. So we are located in Skolkovo. We were created just very recently. The company is 3 years old. And for the innovation activity, the age of the company is not really big, but still we managed to do some work. So I would like just to tell you what we are doing. And then I will tell you how we're working with the scientific people, with the students from scientific universities. And we have several branches, and the main branch is producing effective and specialized fertilizers. And the second branch is pretty industrial innovation course, I would say. So we are producing the products of the following following products that we have from the fertilizer. So this is something specialized for chemistry department and industry. And the third branch, we are having some like food. We created special protein materials that are included into the food. So these proteins can be replaced by the animal and plant proteins. So this is something is very popular nowadays. So we are also making special food adding minerals. And we are facing the question to the food safety, which is very important. We are not just a company who just sits in the office, and 50% of our employees are working in labs. We have a big office in Skolkovo. We have on the basement floor, we have some research rooms and labs. So the lab with the chemistry work, with the analysis of our fertilizers, the protein. We have the chemistry lab where we are producing new formulas for the new products. We have a fetal lab where we're making some experiments with the products that we produced, and the laboratory that is a pilot laboratory with microbiological processes. So you can see in the photo that we have our scientists working on very, very hard. The next slide, please.
You can take a look at our innovative center, and to the right you can see the pilot plant on obtaining the protein isolates made of beans. As I already said, it is impossible to create the whole ecosystem in a small organization like ours. And we are working together with startups, with the youth teams. We are working with scientific organizations. I will tell you about it a little bit later. And we are using all the possible tools available to us, including those which were described by Mr. Movsisyan. And here I would like to highlight the tools which we've used last year. Next year we will use them as well. And we are also thinking about the Success Formula project as well. I will tell you about most interesting cases. This is the work throughout the program known to you, the Support Foundation, the Smart Person program, which was completed last year. And we started adopting the final results and looking at the outcomes. We had a funnel of 17 projects, and we took out several projects. We'll supervise them throughout the year, and based on the results, and we have been discussing it last year, so we contacted the teams, etc. So out of 8, the 3 teams are supervised by us, and it is interesting to see out what they've developed. I will tell you what the teams are. 2 teams are the youth teams on an early stage. I wouldn't even call them startup. So it's the entrance point, basically, for the scientific communities in the universities which are working in the areas which are interesting to us. New bio-fertilizers, 2 projects. 1 project, very interesting one, the development of new silicon-containing fertilizers. So this is the team from St. Petersburg. And another team, what we called digital agriculture. This is about a point-based agriculture. Together with these 4 teams, we're planning to work further on, and hopefully we will obtain some interesting results. Another thing I wanted to tell you about is an interesting format, the chemical cotton. We had this interesting format last year, and it actually doesn't mean that only the ITMO University students were present there. It was based there, but they organized a campaign to attract the students, and even students from MSU came, from other St. Petersburg universities, from Polytechnical, etc. Very interesting and powerful teams came to us, and it was a pleasure for us to work with them. And they solved the tasks in the chemistry field. We have been working with them for 2 days, and it was very interesting. I would even say very hard work was done there. And the tasks were as follows. So we are developing new line of liquid fertilizers, and the task was to develop some kind of stabilizer for this colloid system, for the systems to be as stable as possible, and for us to have some positive effects on the plants themselves. To develop some analytical methodology to understand what is the content of the organic materials in the complex fertilizer. So this is a chemical task all in all, and the guys suggested to have a very interesting solution which we are trying to implement, introduce in our lab. The next slide, please. So this is the main topic of our today's meeting, the main topic of our today's session, I would even say. How we are working together with the scientific and research institutes. Once again, this is not a whole list. Here we can see the scientific organizations we are working with. For example, Tomsk Polytechnic University. It might sound strange, but we have been developing the compositions for the oil wells, seals. So this is basically based on our products which we are using as a part of complex mineral fertilizers. So these are the products of the second purification out of the overall products. I've spoken about it more, and of course Catalysis Institute. Here we're talking about the tests of the new catalyzers, etc. Kuban Agricultural University. I would like to highlight that here we are developing the new bioactive strains for the line of our biological fertilizers. And there are different universities which are developing particular microelements for our fertilizers. Once again, these topics are limitless, lots of different branches that we could discuss, and these are some bright and interesting examples which are showing the wide spectrum of our activities. Next year, we are planning to work with scientific organizations. We are planning to involve all the tools which I spoke about earlier. And here, if you wonder if there are scientific universities representatives in the audience hall, I formulated the areas which are interesting to us when we're talking about the science and research, where we are performing particular work. And the scientific teams, the startups which are working in these areas, are always welcome to join us. We can discuss different things together and see what can be done together. Let me list them in short. Customized fertilizers with higher efficiency. So these are the smaller niche products. Stabilizing fertilizers with microelements, the formula of liquid fertilizers, microbe fertilizers, I spoke about them as well, the ways of recycling the industrial waste, import substitution. Catalyzer is one of the programs of import substitution. High homogeneity products out of high tonnage chemical products. Now we are updating the agenda, ESG agenda, more environmentally friendly production of nitrogen-based fertilizers to decrease the amount of pollution. We're ready to view those things. And all of these areas are very interesting to us. We're working on them. And we invite the groups and teams for cooperation. Please look for our announcements because we will have different competitions, maybe even some cooperation with the support fund. Maybe we will organize something ourselves next year. Please follow the developments, and we invite all of you to work with us. Thank you very much, Olga, for telling us about those interesting topics. I think that universities might be interested in that as well as startup studios, because this has great future for all of us. If it's going to be interesting, then we will share the contacts. And let's move on. We have a colleague from Udmurtia Republic. Good day, dear colleagues. Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you for letting me share my experience. I represent the Corporation of Development of Republic of Udmurtia, and I would like to describe a wonderful case of our cooperation between the university and the Republic. For your understanding, as of now, we have 1.5 million people living in our republic. Izhevsk is the capital. Half of them are living in Izhevsk. It's more than 700,000 people. We are one of the top 3 republics when we're talking about the administrative pressure on the business. We're not that far from Moscow. It's only 2 hours flight. We're a little bit further from Ufa, and it's actually snow in Izhevsk, and it's raining in Ufa. And of course, there are different climates on and on. So once again, popular people from Udmurtia, Pyotr Chaikovsky, Mr. Kalashnikov, and Alina Zagitova. A few words on financing. More than 540 million rubles invested from the budget of Udmurtia Republic. A lot of money invested into the microloans. 1.8 billion rubles for loans, etc. So investments from different funds, both the Udmurtian and other funds of the Russian Federation. Few words on the successful case. We organized We concentrated on developing the techno park for the agricultural machinery. So we are producing milk. We needed to work on some technical modifications of our equipment, and the mechanical parts has developed the complicated gearboxes to apply them in the reality. How we worked with different organizations. As of now, the cooperation of the development of Udmurtia Republic is the beacon of hope for universities. We reoriented the corporation in order for our staff, for our employees, to remain in the Republic of Udmurtia. We have particular grant system, financing system, investment system, and in year 2022, together with the Mechanics Corporation, we got the co-financing, and the revenue was almost doubled due to this. Here, we worked with the application itself, with the scientific staff as well. Today, we are working together with Izhevsk State University, one of the biggest technical universities in the Republic of Udmurtia. And all the students, at least we want all the students, to go through this mechanical part and development, because all the technological processes of development and processing and implementation is known to them. And the whole procedure is known to any student. Here we are raising the competent teams for the competence to be as good as possible. There are particular KPIs for the students, which are taking place in the R&D of mechanics, and they are ready for work. And I would like to say that the industry is consisting of more than 1,000 enterprises. We are not only agricultural region, we are also industrial one. I have a short speech. I would like you to visit our republic. We have the museum of the machine guns. We have the festival of fisheries. And of course, we are celebrating the national culture. And the QR code on the screen could be used to have my personal number written down in your phone book. If you want to have some consultations, you are always welcome. If you want to visit us, please use my phone number. I can give you the contacts of my team. Come to us. Look at our locations. We will lead you through different enterprises. We have a very developed industry, starting with oil down to the machine part for the agricultural machines as well. Thank you.
All right, so Udmurtia Republic is very close to us. It's our good friend, and your colleague also is our good friend. And for me personally, it's a very good example of promoting startups, of export acceleration. So these procedures are so ideally worked out. And I'm sure that you can just get to know this experience, and the experience is perfect. So we are continuing. We are having the speech of Vladimir Sergeyevich about innovations of the company of the Republic of Bashkortostan. Good day, my friends. I'm sure that you can hear me. Thank you very much for your invitation, my dear organization. So I was I think the latest person who joined your event, and I'm sure that you've got my presentation, and I'm so happy to be the speaker today. And the topics that we are talking about are so interesting, and I'm sure that we're going to have very interesting topics as well. So we are the company who are launching and starting the innovation programs. So for the last several years, we're working out the programs of the special devices of a long-term existence in the sky. So I would like to tell you my own idea of how the innovation program can look like, as on the example of our company and other companies. So what are the customers of innovations? This can be a very large business. So there were representatives of Uralchim, and I'm sure that there are some representatives from big corporations and just holdings and universities as well, and some foundations or state programs. And it seems that it should work on a simple way, because this government is really interested in stimulating of the development of innovation activity, because it has benefits on the world scale. And universities can go through the suppliers of employees, and they're preparing the students and experts and developments. And there should be created some innovation corporations and companies, and that we're talking today. So the customer has the task or demands the task, and it also can give the resources as we can turn into technologies. But I'm the person who tells some problems and troubles about this. I should say that I try to be visiting universities, and because I'm just half part working at the university, and I'm the director of innovation company, and I am trying to get on well with the representatives of the businesses. And I know that you students who are having so big motivation, but they cannot introduce themselves and say their ideas because of some unsureness. And I know actually I faced with these situations even in Moscow and St. Petersburg. And I'm having kind of a benefit to be on behalf of these students, because a lot of teachers and students, they want to do some initiatives, some ideas, but they're afraid of risks and responsibility. Because, for example, if we have a potential customer or investor and it has a task, but the student thinks that he's not really confident or he will not be able to finish this. And, for example, we have the Center of the Community Initiatives is working very good, and the students are afraid to go into this, to join them, and they're afraid to have some troubles. And the decision, basically, that I see is the creation of some community, and it creates basing on the centers of innovations or clubs of innovators. And when I knew about these clubs and programs, I was gladly invited, and I'm so here, and I hope that we were going to make it work together in the future. So basically, we're having the community of people who have the same goals, the same circle of treatment. So students and teachers, they, by themselves, they are not valuable at the moment, let's say. They are separated, so they cannot start some innovation activities, but the club of innovators can help to students and teachers or any employees to turn into these people into some ideas or technologies. Because when the technology and idea is valuable, when this idea and technology brings some money. And together with the foundation and centers of innovations and any state programs, they are facing with the assessment scale. So, for example, I have money just to give to the person who can make something interesting, but how I can be sure that this person will be able to do that? And how many people can do that? So people actually, we have so lack of people who can speak perfectly and do it perfectly. So that's why I'm suggesting to create a community or club, maybe having some friendly environment, to have some meetings. So to create this community and gather these people who can make some ideas and people who can turn it into technologies and make it valuable. So 1 week ago, we actually had this first meeting within this club of innovators in our new format, together with my participants and including new speakers. And I think the first steps of formation of this community is based on some simple things, on some, common interests. So the things are actually why I'm so interested to go to this meeting with the students, with the representatives of businesses and foundations, why I should be so interested in this. And the answer is I can solve. So to solve some big-scale tasks and maybe enlarge my business. This is the answer. Any community is based on social nets, and instead it gives, and I'm talking about some psychological things, aspects, because when people are gathered all together having the same goals, they raise some confidence within people. So then if you would like to feel yourself as a very useful person, it's very important to come to the company which you will feel useful, and you will have the same people around you having the same goals, and you will see the outcome of your communication and your work. And the plan of our event is very simple. We started just with the meetings. It just requires your presence, in these meetings. And just on the basis of the experience of our event, we have really a lot of people who are so interested in this. And we also have people who are ready to come again and participate by themselves, having their own ideas, suggestions. And I would be so glad to communicate and to get contacts with our Moscow colleagues. I'm sorry that I'm mentioning you all the time, but still, this is a really good willing for us. And I know that this is very important to say that it's not just a willing, it's just real life. And I know it's a very interesting and important and serious experience to get from you. So we are kind of creating a team, but it's not actually a team. We have some kind of a pilot number of people who are having the same goals, who are having the ideas how to make it work. So if we, for example, gather people from representatives from different spheres, areas, innovation areas, and if we just speak about some really interested topics, and if we are supported by subsidies, some governmental support, so we can guarantee some outcome. So the next topic is about the expert society. So I would just mention who is the person who is the expert. And I know that everyone will give you your own idea of what expertise and experts. So we can talk about, for example, the experts among the grammatics of the Russian language. So, for example, if we talk about other disciplines, we can understand who is expert. But when we talk about innovations, who is the expert? How can we define the meaning of this person? Nobody has never done this before. I think that this is the society of people which could have some experience, some minimal experience in participating of this innovation, or implementing these innovations. And in most cases, we have some people who, for the last 10 years, they participated in some innovation programs and they just gathered. And these teams somehow started doing another program, another project, maybe some technical tasks. And I think just from this process, we have some experts of innovations. And I think I can participate. I can be as an expert some kind of, because I participated in some innovation programs before, and now I can give my very modest opinion about the decision or advice of some solving of some industrial problem. And I think that expert society is kind of born from the community of the people who made one project, for example, and they have some ideas of how it can work, and they can give some advices in the future. And if we talk about the IA, we have different levels and development of IA, and we're not talking about the IA actually, because it's going so far away that it's absolutely different from the people's community. So I will be very short about our future calls, I would say. So our previous event was really small, and we had only 24 people, and we somehow agreed that this society will work if this society community will be with the representatives from different spheres, areas. And from the beginning, we started with a maximum scale. We had a person actually who told us about the development of electro vehicles, about his experience, how he made his own lab of carbon tubes. And we also had some designers who created computer games and boarding games. So, and actually from this communication, they had some points that were interconnected to each other. And so these points of interconnections actually are so close, even within the representatives from different spheres.
Of course, in the future, we're planning to involve the resources. Well, here I'm talking about the human resources, first of all, because we will need some employees. We will need to organize the activities of our community. We will do our best to work together with the universities, because one thing is when you are sending the written request to a rector, and another thing is when you know what lab, what chair is doing what. One thing is when you read it, another thing is to look at who the people are. So what is concealed, what is shown, on what stage things are ready, etc. So and this becomes a resource. Same thing goes for the demands, the tasks, etc. One of the next initiatives I will try to organize here, if I am successful, of course. I hope that the Center for the Support of Innovations is going to help us. Then is going to be the relations with technical parks. Quite often, the small innovative enterprises are capable of doing some work. They can change things, they have some equipment, but usually they have it only on a partial basis. Unifying their demands with the capabilities of the technical parks is going to boost the development of the whole innovative activity on the level of the region, on the level of our small community. I am done thus far. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Vladimir, for your reports, for your speech. I suggest we move on to Q&A. Does anybody from the audience want to ask something? Maybe you want to discuss something? Could you please show Vladimir's contact details on the screen? Hello, I would like to say that I'm so lucky to come to this forum. I'm a student of Ufa State Technical Petroleum University, and as a part of our discipline, we have a startup project on constructing a robotized rotor excavator. And I have the following question. What should be the level of details of the startup project to be invested in, since our project requires quite some investment? And the first sample requires quite a big investment, all in all. Well, since everybody had a report and I did not, let me be the one to share my experience. Speaking about the private investments, if you want to find a private investor, you have to have a revenue of at least at least 10 per month. So the angel clubs won't look at you because you are not having any sales, etc. So if you are not having any sales, it doesn't mean that you won't have them at all. So you can do it, I don't know, first investment, $100,000, $200,000 from an angel who is in this area. We're talking about the top managers of the profile companies who understand that they will buy those excavators from you, or the owners of some medium companies, distributors of, let's say, Chinese equipment, who know for sure that they're going to sell those excavators. But this is rare. So, no, you most likely won't have it. We had an example, the Marine Center. So this is a startup of a healthy person. So how does it look, actually? The guy started doing business. What does it mean to do business? It's when you are responsible for the quality of the product because you are paying for it yourself. So they started taking up the projects for ecological monitoring. Nobody would take it up. Some smaller orders, nobody got interested in that. So many problems and so little money. But they would take them up. They would do it for a year, go into the northern parts of the countries, in the seas, etc. So they did everything without any faults and errors. So, and then people looked at them and thought, okay, let's give them a bigger project. They would take it up and do the project. And the guys have been growing and doubling their revenue every year. Now they have 360 people, they have resources, and now they are spending their own money to develop some underwater robots, some complicated complex for video surveillance underwater. They are calculating the biota, the crabs, etc. So things which are interesting to them personally. And they are doing them with their own investments, and they are actually being invested in. So many grants, so many projects, so many investors, because they proved that they are capable of doing business. They know how to do it. So things are working out for them. There are other examples as well. The graduates of year 2019, science, the chemistry guys, they started selling the catalog chemical materials, to substitute others. So, and last year, 3 billion revenue. They have everything. They came to us this year and they said, so do you have some student projects for 10, 30 million rubles? We can invest into them if it's going to be something interesting in the chemistry field. So this is the approach. So it's based on the business. Thank you. Any other questions? I would like to add a little bit. I've got two pieces of news for you, the good one and a bad one. So I will compliment Vasily's speech because there are investors who would like to take a look at your project without even any income or revenue as a part of the platform. So we have so-called startup studios, and one of them exists in Ufa as well. They're ready to give you the money even before you get the sales. But proof of concept stage has to be there as well. If you came up with something, I mean, based on our experience, the idea is nothing. Its implementation is everything. Honestly, the idea would not be invested in most of the cases. If you do at least something, I mean, it's not that you decided, okay, we will do the best rotor excavator in the world. No. Most likely, there are particular scientific and technical solutions which are better than those of your competitors, and they allow you to manufacture the best excavator ever. If you have shown the result of such a solution and you can actually show it to the investor that it's working in the lab conditions, then you already have the chance to have the investors with the state support to get at least the first stage money. Because if you come there and you're a student, so you are coming to them and you're saying, well, I need $10 million. 99% of the chance that you won't get anything. You will get lots of questions asked. Some of them will be answered by you. Some of them won't, but it's going to be useful as well. But anyhow, you won't get the big money right away. Please try to divide your project into several stages, and they have to be achievable. And then, as soon as you have the whole story, just come with at least one finished stage, if you're talking about the investments. But before the investment stages, there are the grant stages, and they are used to go through the proof of concept stage. So, for example, this smart person project, Umnik. So, and you can just divide it into different stages and then get those stages invested by these stages. The student starts up, the grant on the launch of the project, etc. But every time you will need to prove that your idea can be turned into something tangible that can be shown and used for the business benefits. I hope we'll discuss this backstage. Do we have some time? Okay, good. We have some time for more questions. Good. Hello, I represent an enterprise. I guess that this question goes to Oleg Vladimirovich. In order for the enterprise to obtain the result of the intellectual activity designed by the students, the easiest way is to adopt this team into your ranks. Are there any other options? We would like to have a chance to use some grant support. It all depends on who you're working with. If this is a youth team and as a part of working together with you or as a part of acceleration program you set up a task and they are solving it, then most probably you can just employ them, pay some money, and this is going to be your enterprise development. That's one of the options. Another option, if you do understand that this task can be turned into a good business and you are ready to go into the startup together with it, so then you can create the startup together with them. You finance them through the ordered R&D. So you order this from an enterprise, and then it's going to be officially used by your enterprise. Yes, if the team is going to find a solution in one of the labs of the university. I mean, there is a technology, you need to work through it. If it is ready-made, then you should go to the university. There are particular departments like the Center of the Transfer of Technologies, and then you have to agree with them how to license this result. If they have a patent on their balance, then you can either procure a license or you can simply buy out the patent based on a contract on the transfer of the intellectual property. If you need to work on this further on, then it's going to be the audit or R&D, and then you will prove that it belongs to you. Any other questions? I think we have some time for one more question. Mr. Chervanenko, Milliard Group of Companies, we are the fabrics manufacturer. So I've heard a lot of successful experiences, but we have an unsuccessful one. You are ready to finance, you know what to do, but you don't know how. First, you go to the rector, you get some general words, but then they're over. You go to someone else, to the chairs themselves. There is an interest, but the movement is very slow. Why? Because this is additional workload with few additional sources of income. You still have to work on your main work and do your main procedures. I mean, you can win only when you go to bed thinking about the project and then wake up thinking about the project. We have no chance of such kind. So involving the students is very hard because you have financing, you have a wish, you show it, you lead them through the rooms. You are offering it not because this is an enterprise with hundreds of millions of revenue. But once again, when we were creating the extruders for the powder-based dyes, so we couldn't do that. And the question is, what prevents from implementing your practice? I mean, looking at the slides, I would dream of actually working with students like that. And if it is possible, how fast can it be done? And what are the motivations for the teachers who are supervising these projects? And another question. When you are investing into it, are you dividing and separating the risks somehow? I mean, I invest, I spend the money, and there is no effect. What do we do then? Okay, step by step. Negative experience. Of course, negative experience is something we have as well. We are talking about all the positive things, but honestly, 90% underneath is basically based on the negative experience. The first experience is always negative. I mean, the first example, the guys from the Genotech company, this is not the first project of theirs. They devised a PCR device which was cheaper than the one that was in the market. They took first place in the US competition, but it didn't work out, and this is okay. I mean, all of us And Vladimir mentioned it as well. Of course, we are afraid of the success, but we have to treat it as an experience. If you don't manage it, so then it's a valuable experience. You tried it. You should calm yourself down like this. And don't be afraid to move ahead. This is okay.
Number 2, just the question about the cooperation with the universities. Yes, the question is not really simple. It's pretty difficult. The first task is education. The second task is the fundamental research, and the third is the applicable tasks. But I think that within the regions, we have not so hard and complicated procedures, especially if we talk about the industrial sides. So yes, we have some stories. For example, we had some people who asked, who said, well, so for our Center of Innovation Cooperation help to do that. So you need to find people who really understand that. And yes, you will have to spend some time to find out the right people, the right companies. And number 3, what about motivation? If you succeed to find motivated research workers within the students, for example, for example, we have in our university the Department of Kinetics. So the lab, sorry. So the chief of this lab, she's not really willing to do that. She is really interested just to work with the industry, but they have a very good experience of having at least 3 companies who launched their successful products. So despite these, negative experiences, you still have to try to work and to go to the right lab, to the right departments, where for the professor, for the teacher, basically, people will be interested to work with. And in most cases, it's successful. Sometimes it happens that students do not stay for a long time there, and they come to you to work with you. And I would like to add one more aspect, that this is a very there should be work done on a very accurate way, and with the bureaucracy issues, like monitoring every week, just with the team, what has been done, all the things, good, bad, should be analyzed and discussed. And yes, this work should be paid, of course. And within the accelerator programs, you are able to do that. And there are some grants that you can collect and get the project. And within this project, you will have the responsibility to do that. So then you will have the budget as well. So you can also apply for some grants. And these companies, as having a very good ideas and teams, they really wanted, I would say, within the government. And especially if they kind of approved, but there are just a few of them. But these teams, they prove that they will work, that they have work done, real work done. And the support for sure will be done by the government. And your last question that you asked, whose risks will be, if there are some. But of course, these are risks of students and the company because they are losing, and that's why they lose, and they have risks as well. This is pretty obvious. So, as Vasily said, just to decrease the amount of your costs, losses, economical losses. So, for these cases, we have grants. And anyway, there are some risks anyway, even if you get some benefit in the future. So my friends and colleagues, the organizers asked to just to find some time for award. Also, the deputy of the Ministry of the Industrial Department of the Republic of Bashkortostan. So please, I give the floor to him. So, my dear friends, good day. So, and the independent innovation programs is very important for the country, for our republic, and our republic is on the 4th place among the list of the support for innovation programs, who attracts all the measures from the government and budgets, and to connect on the effective way the governmental support and the companies, new companies. We have a lot of people who are very active on the innovation programs. So I would like to thank you, these people who are taking a very good part in this work. So the gratitude letter is awarded to the head of the Salavat city. Please, you're welcome. A gratitude letter goes to Lilia Renatovna. She is the deputy of the head of the Neftekamsk city. A gratitude letter goes to deputy of the head of Duvansky region. Please, you're welcome. A gratitude letter goes to deputy of the head of Oktябрьsky city. Please, you're welcome. A gratitude letter goes to the head of the innovation development programs of Ufa State, Bashkir State University. Please, you're welcome. No person is here. This person is not here. A gratitude letter goes to the manager of Innovation Institute of Ufa Technical Petroleum University. A gratitude letter goes to the Gareyeva Svetlana, who is the head of the department in Bashkir State University, Agricultural University, Pedagogical University. A gratitude letter goes to the head of Innovation Institute of Ufa State Petroleum University, Азалия Альфировна. A gratitude letter goes to the analytic person, to Shafikova Renata. A gratitude letter goes to the head of the the head of the project works of the Innovation Institute. Please, you're welcome. Just we're having a few seconds. I would like just to have some words. I think that we need to communicate, but we need to a starting point. So we have some contacts of some speakers, but I'm talking about QR codes. And so you can also find our website. And if you have some questions, you can just address your questions. And you also will have the address for our contacts on Telegram. So bash.ru, you go to there and you can ask your questions. And Vasily will tell you that we're going to have a continuation just in 30 minutes, and we're going to continue our discussion after the break, but we're going to have and discuss the same questions. Yeah, we will continue in Hall C, and we will continue our conversation. So organizers asked to tell you that you can share your futuralized forecasts in the hall, because just in the hall there is a special machine, and this is a very interesting device, and I think you can try for sure this possibility. So we will continue our communication. Thank you.